I cheated on my husband of 25 years with his close friend. After 4 years, he found out. How can I ever make this right or move forward? I never thought I'd be the kind of person to post something like this. But after everything that's happened, I feel completely lost. I don't have anyone I can really talk to about it. My family would judge me, my friends would gossip, and therapy only helps so much. Maybe strangers on the internet can tell me what I need to hear, even if it's something I don't want to. I've been married to my husband, Mark, for 25 years. We met in college. He was quiet, reliable, the kind of guy who didn't talk much, but always showed up when it mattered. We built a life together. 2 kids, a house we're still paying off, the usual ups and downs. For most of our marriage, I would have described us as happy, comfortable maybe, predictable. Somewhere after our second kid left for college, that comfort turned into distance. We still loved each other, but the spark, that connection we used to have, started fading. He worked long hours. I threw myself into volunteer work and community projects. We were still a team, but we weren't us anymore. Conversations turned into logistics. Dinners were eaten in silence. It wasn't hateful, just empty. Then came Dan, one of Mark's oldest friends. They'd been close since their 20s, and he was a regular at our house for barbecues, birthdays, holidays. Dan had gone through a messy divorce and started leaning on both of us for emotional support. He'd call to talk, sometimes come over just to get out of his empty house. I didn't see it as anything more at first, but over time, those conversations shifted. We'd talk about our marriages, our disappointments, our loneliness. He'd compliment me in ways Mark hadn't in years. I'd tell him about how distant things felt at home. It was emotional infidelity long before it became physical, though I didn't want to admit it to myself then. The first time we crossed that line, it wasn't planned. We were both drinking after a small get-together at our house. Mark had gone to bed early. One thing led to another, and suddenly there was no going back. I told myself it was a mistake, that it would never happen again, but it did, for 4 years. I justified it by telling myself that it didn't mean I didn't love my husband. I know that sounds insane, but that's how my brain made it survivable. Dan made me feel wanted, seen. I told myself it was harmless as long as it didn't hurt Mark, but of course it was hurting him every day. He just didn't know it. Last month, everything came crashing down. Mark had borrowed my laptop to print something, and when he opened my email, there it was. A message from Dan that I'd forgotten to delete. It wasn't explicit, but it was enough. He didn't confront me right away. Instead, I came home to find him sitting at the kitchen table, pale and shaking, with my laptop open in front of him. He just said, "How long?" I think I stopped breathing. I tried to lie at first, said it was a misunderstanding, said Dan was just venting. But Mark isn't stupid. He looked me dead in the eyes and said, 4 years. I checked. He didn't scream. He didn't throw anything. He just walked away. That silence, that awful, calm silence, was worse than if he'd yelled. Since then, things have been unbearable. He moved into the guest room. We still live in the same house, but it feels like 2 ghosts sharing a space. He's civil. He'll still make coffee, still text me about bills, still ask how my day was, but I can feel the wall between us. He doesn't touch me, doesn't look at me the same way. The only time I saw him cry was when he thought I was asleep. I ended everything with Dan immediately. I blocked him, deleted every message, told him never to contact me again. He tried to apologize too, but I don't want anything to do with him now. I see now that whatever comfort I thought I was finding in him was just a distraction from my own unhappiness, not an excuse for what I did. I've started going to therapy on my own, and my therapist says I need to stop focusing on fixing Mark and instead work on understanding myself, why I let this happen, what I was running from. That makes sense in theory, but every day I see Mark's face, I just feel this crushing guilt. He's not the kind of man who forgives easily. He told me once, before all this, that if I ever cheated, he'd never look at me the same way again. And now I know he meant it. I've tried apologizing, over and over, but it feels empty. He just says, "I hear you," and walks away. I know I can't demand forgiveness, but I don't even know what moving forward looks like from here. I keep asking myself, how do people survive this? How do marriages survive when one person betrays the other so deeply? Is there a point in trying, or should I let him go? I don't want to, but maybe that's what he needs to heal. I can't stop replaying everything in my head. The lies, the sneaking around, the moments I could have stopped but didn't. It's like watching someone else's life, except it was mine. We built everything together. A family, a home, a history, and now it all feels poisoned by what I did. I miss the sound of his laughter, the way he used to absent-mindedly touch my shoulder when he walked past. I even miss the arguments, because at least those were real. Now everything feels numb. The hardest part is knowing that I don't deserve his kindness, and yet he's still being decent. That almost hurts more than if he'd exploded in anger. It reminds me of what I destroyed. A man who treated me with patience, respect, and loyalty, even when I didn't deserve it. Sometimes I catch him looking at old photos on his phone, the 2 of us at the beach, our kids' graduation, our anniversary dinner, and I want to say something, but I never know what to say. There's no sentence in the world that can undo what I did. I've thought about leaving, giving him space to start over without me, but part of me feels like that would be running away again. So I stay, doing the only thing I can do, showing up, being honest, giving him time. I know forgiveness might never come. I know there's a chance our marriage won't survive this, but I want to believe that people can change, that time can heal some of the pain, even if it never goes away completely. I don't expect anyone to defend me here. I know I'm the villain in my own story, but I also know I'm still human, a deeply flawed one, trying to rebuild something she carelessly broke. If you've ever been through something like this, as the betrayed or the betrayer, how did you move forward? What helped you start over or earn back even a fraction of trust? Because right now, it feels like I'm living in the shadow of what I destroyed, and I don't know how to step back into the light.